everybody. So today I wanted to give you a little bit of an update about the hydroponics lab. We've got some really amazing growth going on, and we even have some plants jumping into the next stage of their plant growth, which is producing flowers and fruit. So I wanted to give you an update on everything and get you thinking about pollination and why plants produce flowers. So I'm going to start you off by showing you some of the things we have in the seedling tray. These are things that we're going to be planting into the systems several weeks from now, probably right before Christmas break. But we need to plan ahead to make sure that these plants are in the right stage where we can put them into the system. So what we've got going on right now, I've planted a whole tray of new seeds. They're not growing super well just yet. I think that's got to do with how cold it has been in my room. So we're gonna have to think about that. What I've got growing are just replacements of what is already in the system. So we've got some Swiss chard here. That's these, they've got the pink kind of stalk to them. We're growing some more lettuce. I'm going to show you in a second. Our lettuce should be ready to harvest in a few weeks, so we're going to want to replenish that with new lettuce. And then we've got a lot of flowers growing here. These flowers we are going to end up putting over here in the aquaponics system. You see all of these floating trays with the different holes in them. There are lots of spaces for plants to grow here. So we want to put flowers in this space. One, to make it beautiful. Two, because we don't want to put anything that we're going to eat in with the fish tank because the water is not the best quality. And three, because the flowers just like growing a little bit better in that system. So we've got some marigolds in here. They haven't sprouted quite yet. Calendula or calendula, I've heard it said both ways. Those are clearly popping right up here. Those will be very tall. They're a good pollinator species. Butterflies and ladybugs love these. Borage, which creates like the craziest plant you've ever seen. I'll show it to you later. And then we also have some nasturtium and some dianthus. It's growing here. And then in these last ones, we tried planting some more herbs. Herbs are hard to grow from seed. They're so small, their seeds are so small that it takes kind of a lot of work to get them to grow. We've got one teeny tiny little, I'm gonna guess that's a thyme leaf coming up, but it takes them a really long time to grow. So I planted stevia, thyme, cilantro, and rosemary, mostly as an experiment to see if we can get good germination. And then over here, we just sprinkled a bunch of chive seeds. Again, we're just kind of doing an experiment. We want to see what happens. If we can get a bunch of chives growing, that would be awesome. So when you get your home hydroponics kit, you're going to want to plant more seeds than you expect to grow, because not, as you can see here, not every seed is going to sprout right away. So we want to make sure we have plenty of those started to get things going. Now, let's go over to our vine crop system. Look how big and beautiful these plants are getting. You should see some big differences, and you should see some beauty happening over here. On the left side, we've got 2 cucumber plants going. Do you notice any difference between these 2 cucumber plants, especially looking at the leaves? This one on the left, the leaves are nice and green. They are nice and full of water. They are soft and pliable, meaning that you can move them around without them crinkling. Whereas this plant is having some trouble. The leaves are not so full of water. They're not nice and supple. It's starting to get yellowed. You can really see those veins. It's starting to crinkle up around the outside. This plant here is not doing so good, but this one is doing really, really well. And there's a couple of things that I want to show you on this plant. If we look down here, hiding underneath one of the leaves, what is it that we see? We see a beautiful cucumber flower. This one looks like it's been here for a couple of days. This is a Monday, so there's been 2 days of growth since I've been in the building. So we've got our cucumber flower, and at the back of it, you can see a bunch of other little ones growing. Here's another one. There's another one down there. What we might do at this point, because we want our plant to get a little bit bigger before it starts to bear fruit, is that we might go ahead and snip off these flowers. They're beautiful, I know, and it might make you sad to do that, but right now we don't necessarily want our plant to spend all of its energy growing flowers or growing fruit when it's not really ready to grow yet. What you should also notice is that these cucumber plants are making their way up these strings that I've placed here for them. We encouraged them a little bit. We used these clips to try and keep them going in the right direction. But you should also notice that the plant is doing a lot of that work itself. It is creating what are called tendrils. Now tendrils' jobs are to do exactly what you see this one doing here. They find the closest surface and they start to wind themselves around it. You can't see them, you can't really feel them either. But these little strings, these tendrils, have hairs on the inside of them that help them to grab onto a surface. So this plant is moving itself up onto this thing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a clip right here. The clip will help hold the plant up onto the string. So I'm just going to give him a little clip here, and this will keep him moving up towards the sky rather than falling down. All right. So we want to think, what could be going on between these two different plants that's giving us such an issue? Now, we've got some other things growing over here that are really, really beautiful. I wanted to share this with you. This is our first sunflower to bloom. As you can see there, it has opened up beautifully. It's got all of its nice petals. And inside, you can see the parts of the flower. You've got the stamen and the stigma, the male and female parts of the flower here. So we want to ask ourselves, we want to start thinking, what is the job that a flower has? Why is it worth the energy that the plant is going to put into this flower? There's got to be a reason that it's there other than just for beauty, right? So what is the role of flowers in plants? And what you might also notice, what I just did right here, there's some sticky fluid. You can't really, oh, but you can see it a little bit. But the plant is releasing some stickiness. What is that stickiness, do you think? Okay, and you can see that there's lots of little buds on this sunflower. It's going to be growing lots of little flowers over the next couple of weeks. It smells really beautiful. So nice. So why is that flower there? What does it do? In this bucket, I've also got this beautiful plant that you hear me talk about all the time, which is called nasturtium. This is a kaleidoscope nasturtium. It's got different colors in it. It looks like it's a mess, right? It looks like this bad leaf over here, but actually it's nice and supple and soft. That's just the beautiful colors that it's supposed to have. I love this plant. It's really cool and it's really tasty. So we'll keep talking about that. This is a tomato plant that I transplanted on Friday. It looks like it's doing a great job in its new home. We're not going to talk about that too much. Tomatoes take a long time to get going in this system, so I wanted to get that in here. We have another cucumber plant that is doing pretty well over here. As you can see, we've got a big, beautiful flower growing. Which means that we might be getting to the point where we will start to get fruit or vegetable, you know. a fruit is the word for what a plant makes to hold its seeds. So we might consider cucumbers to be a vegetable, but technically, biologically, they are a fruit because they hold the seeds of the plant. And over here we've got some more beauties growing. These are our pea plants, and what do we notice again? 2 more beautiful little flowers growing. Okay, this is what a pea flower looks like. They come up and they flip down like this. You can sort of see what's going on inside. And what's going to happen when these get pollinated is that they will shrivel up and a pea will grow in this spot. The flower petals will fall down. Oop, I just found another one back there. The flower petals will fall off and a pea will grow out of this spot. It'll be about that big. Okay? So all plants, even if they're plants that you don't traditionally imagine having flowers on them, create flowers for the purpose of creating fruit. The fruit grows out of that flower. It is the reproductive organ of the plant, and all plants, if you allow them to grow long enough, will bear fruit. Okay? And then we've got our NFT system over here, which is full of all my beautiful greens and herbs. We've got, this is called Red Cloud. It's an Asian green. We also have tatsoi. You can see these are doing a little bit okay. They're kind of spotty. These ones here are arugula. I'm going to harvest some of those today probably to eat with my lunch. If you let these get too much bigger, they get kind of bitter. So I don't want to let them get too big. But what I can do rather than pulling the whole plant is that I can just pull one leaf off, rinse it off, and eat it like lettuce. Nope. Okay, those are really spicy, so they're ready to go. They're ready to be harvested, little bits of them. Ooh, very spicy. And then back here we've got kale, this beautiful purple kale, and more of that bok choy over here in the back. A little bit of parsley. Oh, that was a spicy bite of arugula. Whoops. And then this last thing growing over here is oregano. We've got some tiny baby oregano. It smells so, so good. And we're going to let that kind of fall off of the side of the system. Okay? And then behind us, we've got our lettuce. These are about half as big as they're going to be. I'm kind of hoping to do a big harvest of everything before Thanksgiving, mostly so that I can have a beautiful Thanksgiving salad of things that I have grown that I am thankful for. So we've got our butter lettuce here. We've got some very floppy looking basil. What I'm going to do with these basils today is that I'm going to pop off the bottom leaves. And you can see here that it's starting to grow some new leaves. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove these big ones from down here, and I'm going to let these little baby leaves become the new main stem of the plant. So if I let these bigger leaves go too much longer, they'll get hard and kind of crusty, so we don't want to do that. So that is how our hydroponics lab is looking today. I really wish you guys were here with me to work in the lab, to help me prune and check and clean everything so that you could be interacting with the plants, and hopefully someday soon we'll get to be back together again. Okay? Everybody have a wonderful week, and I will see you on Zoom. Bye.